Hey, I'm John, and this is How to Be Human. How you doing? Wherever you are, I hope you're safe, and I hope you're using this time wisely to learn something about yourself, or maybe something new, to grow. And that's what this week's episode's about, growth. And you might be wondering, why talk about that in a time like this? Well, it's been 2 weeks since the last video that I put out, and not a lot's changed. We've all still been told to stay at home. And I mean, there's only so many episodes of Tiger King to watch. And there's gotta be something better to do with my life than play Animal Crossing for 6 hours a day. And that's where personal growth comes in. If you've been following this channel for a while, then you know that I'm big on purpose. Everybody has one, and we all need to be about the business of figuring out just what ours is. That can be hard work, but I think there's a correlation between living a joyful, fulfilling life and being aware of your why. If life is like a game, then it helps to know the goal if you want to have a chance at winning. If life is a highway, it helps to know where you're going. And if life is like a box of chocolates,
you never know what you're gonna get.
Actually, there's something that's always bothered me about that line. You can know what you're going to get. There's usually a key on the inside of the box or on the back. And that's what I'm getting at. By understanding your why, you unlock the key to knowing so much more about life. If you're having a hard time finding your why, then it's probably because you've still got a little growing up to do. I don't mean to be harsh, but it's true. If you want to know the path that your life should take, then you have to be able to figure out what tools you possess and how to find other ones. And the good news is, you already know how to do this. Sure, for some of you, it's been a while since you tried something new or learned a new thing, but we've all done this before at some point. I think that one of the most egregious lies that we tell ourselves as well as others is that we need to be fully self-actualized by the time most people finish college. We ask kids all the time, what do you want to be when you grow up? As if it matters, as if it counts for something. But we stop asking ourselves who we want to be when we grow up before we even figure out who we already are. And that leads us to despair because we are acutely aware of all of our shortcomings and we think, this is as good as it gets. But why stop there? Why stop learning? It's idiotic to refuse to improve. What do you think of somebody who's provided with evidence for change, but chooses to remain willfully ignorant? Not much, right? Don't be that guy. We all have a little bit of extra time on our hands, so why not reacquaint ourselves with the process of growth? I have this habit of becoming transfixed with something new or learning new things. I have a guitar because at one point in time I wanted to become a musician. I have a grill because there was a time when I thought it'd be really good to learn how to barbecue. And I have tools and a shop because woodworking seemed fun. But after I get all the tools and the stuff, the work begins. And believe it or not, I'm not a master of the trade from the second I start, and that frustrates me. That's why I actually have these signs on the wall. They remind me that I'm going to make mistakes, and in fact, they're necessary to grow, and that those mistakes don't define me. Speaking of my less than desirable traits, I've actually only recently developed an appreciation for reading again. I mean, sure, there have been other pockets of time in my life where I've enjoyed it, but I got a degree in video production for a reason. Why read it when you can watch it, right? Wrong. I've conflated a thing's value with its ease of use. And I think we can all agree that that's not the best philosophy to live life by. For instance, it's much better to brew coffee in a Chemex than it is to drink the instant stuff. Scotch is smoother and more expensive the longer it's aged. And even movies aren't as good if the character doesn't earn the resolution. So what am I saying? Well, I think sometimes it's worth a little extra work to get a higher quality outcome. And for the sake of this argument, the outcome is your life. I retain more information when I read things slowly. And if the goal is to be changed by the things that I read, then I'd say it's worth it. We've already talked about how you have a purpose and you have value. And I happen to think that your life is worth the extra effort. As a matter of fact, I'm counting on you thinking it is as well. So by now we've debunked some of the myths and lies that keep us static. We've talked about how growth is definitely a worthwhile pursuit, but maybe you still remain unconvinced. So do me a favor. Think of your favorite athlete or Lin-Manuel Miranda. There was a time when they weren't all that well known. They were just little Yadier Molina or little Lin from down the street. Can you imagine a world where Yachty quits before he makes the bigs, or we never get Hamilton because Lin-Manuel Miranda gives up before he even writes the music for In the Heights? Guys, they were just like you. Average people who weren't well known or famous with potential. And maybe you can't be the 9-time Golden Glove winning catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, or Lin-Manuel Miranda. But I doubt they even become who they are today without the support of people who gave them their best and made it their purpose to support them. And those people are just as important as Lin-Manuel Miranda or Yadier Molina because, and I'll say it again, people need each other. Let's not dismiss all the work that Lin and Yachty put into this. So what does that work look like for you? First, you have to know that growth is a worthwhile pursuit. Second, you have to get rid of all the lies that are keeping you from moving forward. Third, set some goals, make a plan. Fourth, act. Fifth, ask for some help. Sixth, keep going. 7, lather, rinse, and repeat. But why do any of this? Well, I've said it before, but I think growth might be the reason we're here. And I'm not saying that you need to go out and create the next Broadway blockbuster, but I am saying that there are little ways that we can all improve every day. I mentioned last week that I'm not really that good at keeping up with old friends. I usually say that it's because we're all too busy, but here I sit in week 1 million of quarantine, and do you know how many phone calls I've made? Not none, but not enough. And I can't be the only one who has some room to grow. I don't care what you do, but whatever you do it intentionally and try to be better. If you're looking for a way to get off the hook for this growth stuff, fine, you've got it. No one is gonna make you be the best version of yourself. But if you look at the world and you have a problem with the way that it operates, and you're not willing to do the work and change yourself, then you're boring, and you're a hypocrite, and you're in the majority. Anybody can complain, but altruistic world changers, they act. It's a choice. But we're all waiting for you to move. And if you choose to, I promise that I won't condemn you for the mistakes that you made and your willful ignorance in the past. And I hope nobody else does either. I pray that we can all root for each other as we learn and change and grow. So I have one question for you. Who do you want to be when you grow up? And in the most respectful way I know how to say this, grow up. And don't stop growing. Because I think growth is the most fundamental part of learning how to be human. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know that a lot of things are changing, and so asking other people to change is kind of a big ask. But it doesn't have to be anything huge. Like I said, it can be something really small. But I think the worst thing that we can do in this time is just sit here, rest on our laurels, and wait for it to be over. There's an opportunity for some real growth here. And so if we're intentional about it, we can be better after this is over. Nobody's saying that, but I think it's true. If you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.